Καλησπέρα σας, βρισκόμαστε στο Greek Legends Tournament της Riot, εδώ στο κλειστό γήπεδο του Taekwondo. Μαζί μας έχουμε, όπως θα δείτε, τον Trevor Quickshot Henry, να μας πει δύο πράγματα για το League of Legends. So, hello
Hi.
Quickshot. I'm calling you Quickshot instead of Trevor or anything. Welcome to Greece. Thank you for coming to these Greek Legends events. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. How you started, how did you end up here? I know that you were an FPS player at first in SA.
The quick summary is South African. I was a competitive Call of Duty 4 player on PC. Managed to travel a lot and played it for 4.5 years at the top of the scene there. But then I just grew a little bit out of the game. I grew tired and it was a lot of work keeping up that level.
Right.
My younger brother was playing League of Legends at the time, so he introduced me in February of 2010.
Right.
And I just completely fell in love with the game. Started watching Season 1, got more and more involved. I've always been a talker, so I used to do public speaking and I used to do debating in high school. And I just met the right people who said, look, try shoutcasting. So in Season 2, I got involved, started doing some work, and I was very lucky. People liked my accent and they liked my style.
Right.
And from my very first shoutcast, 8.5 months later, I joined Riot Games and took part in the League of Legends Championship Series from Season 3 last year.
That's great. What do you think that makes you, or actually makes a good shoutcaster?
So the qualities of a good shoutcaster, I think what it really boils down to is how good you are at storytelling. Because a shoutcaster tells the story of the players. He tells the story of the game. He tells the story of the champions. And the story can be emotional. The story can be factual. The story can be numbers-based. It can be a whole different thing. So for me, it's just how effective you are at translating the information you want people to know. For me, it's about emotion. For me, it's about energy and excitement. For people like Jat or Kobe, it's more intricate. It's more the minute differences and the millimeters that make up the game. So it's just different people have different styles.
Have you followed the Greek League of Legends scenes? Have you seen things about the overall scene in Greece?
So I haven't, unfortunately, because there's so many things to keep tabs of. So for me, I focus on the international leagues,
right?
China, Korea, Southeast Asia, purely because that's my job. But leading up to the Greek Legends event, I was looking at all the players and I was looking at all the qualifying events, leading up to having Void Gaming in different dimension on stage. And I think the players are great, and I think it's definitely a growing region.
Did you notice any, obviously, differences in play styles, picks and bans, the overall attitude and the way players? I mean, did you find it smart plays? You think there are things that we can compare where they have a potential?
Oh yes. I mean, if you look at the final, 9 out of 10 of those players are challenger. So 9 out of those 10 players are in the best players in all of Europe. End of story. But what I am seeing from the teams is because there's quite a big difference in individual skill, teams tend to win on their own skill. Like, I beat you in lane so badly that I never need a strategic approach. Right. So what I think we need to see is in this final now between DD and VG is whether or not that skill level is more even, and then we can see the strategic game. Then we can see tower pushing, dragon play, warding, because the semi-finals was more about individual skill. But yeah, as I say, you do have some of the best players in all of Europe, and it's just a matter of getting the good players to stick together and make a team that can compete.
That's good news, and obviously, I mean, hopefully we can do better. What do you think needs to be done? Obviously we're taking baby steps towards getting into esports, at least in Greece. So what do you think would be the first things to do in order to have a professional scene in Greece?
So for me, it boils down to getting the teams or the players that are on our stage today to have a story with the people who are in the audience. In order for esports to work, you need an ecosystem where you have the best players being watched by people who want to watch them. And League of Legends and LCS was very, very lucky in that we had a very big player base that wants to consume and wants to watch the best players. So for me, it boils down to telling their stories and making sure that everyone that goes home today knows the 9 other guys that are not forgiven. They need to know the other players. They need to know the stories. They need to connect to them because you want to watch all of the players, not just the Forgivens or the Neymars or the Rooneys of the world. You know, you have to be in touch with them.
So, okay, how would you say would encourage solo queue players? Because as you said, it goes. You know, we have different, like, you know, every one of them is a top tier, let's say, player. So how would you encourage a top tier solo queue player to actually get involved with the pro gaming scene, or actually, you know, do this step?
So dedication is number one. You need to have a player that is dedicated to the end goal, maybe LCS or a Greek LCS, if that's what he wants to work towards.
Right.
Okay. And he needs to stick with teams and players. Too often, we have players who are incredibly talented instantly jump ship to a team that is perceived to be better, because it's easier to just keep playing my game in a better team than it is to level up my team strategy. And once you start having teams that actually stick together and they're dedicated to a league or to an event, you start having attachments, you start having associations. It's the same 5 guys in the same event 5 months in a row. Hey, I can trust these guys, I can watch these guys, I can fall in love with these guys. And that's what I think it boils down to, is dedication to the end goal and really working towards it. Because if everyone keeps chopping and changing and jumping ship, there's no stability.
Exactly. Okay, let's take it one step further. We've seen all these pro gaming scene in a global level. What happens next with, being a pro player with in League of Legends? Then you sometimes, you know, either you retire or just some things don't fall in.
I'm going to be honest with you, we don't know. I mean, we are literally inventing a worldwide sport. We have enough players in enough countries around the world that we're very fortunate that we're writing these stories. You have players like Skara, who has basically been outgrown. Other mid lane players are better than him. So he stepped back in the spring split. Golden Glue took over. Golden Glue wasn't good enough. Now Shift is taking the spot, and all of a sudden, Skara's moved into this coaching position. And if anyone thinks that he's not doing a good job, go look at Dignitas' results in the summer splits. They've got a bunch of good players, and they're playing strategically, they're playing smart. So for players who are no longer viable to play, we're creating coaching positions, we're creating analyst positions. And I say we, I mean League of Legends as a whole, League of Legends scene.
It's an ecosystem.
Exactly, and everybody's getting involved. Everyone's taking it to the next level.
What are the skill sets then that you can take? I mean, that a player can take from being a pro gamer to making the jump to another, let's say, career, or I mean, even
it vastly depends on where you're looking. So for an analyst or a coach, obviously an understanding of the macro level game, an understanding of champion interaction. I mean, you could, in theory, you could look for coaches for each individual role in the game. If people wanted to go the Shoutcaster route, somebody's got a talking ability, you can do that. If somebody has an eye for technical sides of things, they could start coding the LCS fantasy database. So there's this wealth of opportunities, and it depends on each person to find their unique skills in addition to their league skills and say, what do they do? For me, it's the love for talking and the love for league. I combine them and I make a Shoutcaster. Skara, it's his love for playing and his understanding.
Analyzing the plays.
And that makes a coach. So that's the trick, is finding what you can do well at different degrees and just mixing it together.
So, then, okay, how I'm going to put it locally again. How did you see, I mean, what's your opinion about the crowd that you saw, that all the people that are here? I mean, look, we have like, I don't know, 6,000-7,000 both days. Everybody loving League of Legends.
So the crowd,
the
crowd really impresses me, because if we're going to do a comparison, say, to the London crowd or to the French crowd, we have the same cheers, the same volume, the same excitement, and that is for local players. I mean, if you look at all those other roadshows, you have the 8 LCS teams, you have the 5 best teams from around the world. I dare say it's easier to yell and scream for those players because there's so much more history and story. And you've got this crowd of 7,000-8,000 people behind us going crazy for their hometown teams and their home country teams, which haven't played internationally. And it's very exciting. It's great to be here because the players, they love League. That's what it all boils down to. We all love League. And they're celebrating both the game, their home country, their home language, and their home players.
So, do you have any time to wander around Athens and
On Monday.
see?
On Monday. Once the event is done, I will be doing some sightseeing on
So
Monday.
you're not leaving. You're not leaving straight away.
No.
Oh, that's-
Specifically made sure we had a couple of days extra just to look around and
Yeah,
enjoy.
you should have done that.
Exactly.
That's great.
But tonight, I got a message for all of Greece.
Yeah.
Because I'm hoping that Costa Rica will be taken down in the football. So it's Kalituthi LFA, and I wish Greek all the best of luck in the World Cup.
That would be great. That would be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
for
much.
your
Pleasure's
time.
mine.
And I support all blacks.
Yes, nice.
On the rugby side of events.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you.